Hey everyone, welcome back to Guns and Gear with Big Todd. Today we're talking about a tool that completely surprised me. It's a knife I didn't plan on buying and didn't think I'd care for, and yet it hasn't left my pocket in weeks. We're talking about the Kershaw Hotwire. Now I know this has been around for a long time, and I know you can get them at Walmart, and I know they're cheap, and I'll tell you how I know. Before we talk about the steel and the specs, I have to tell you this ridiculous story of how this little guy ended up in my pocket. Now, a few weeks ago, my family, along with my in-laws, went on a vacation to Maui, Hawaii. Now, because we pack light and we only do carry-on, we decided to not check a bag. Now, if you carry a knife every single day like I do and like my father-in-law does, you know the absolute panic of realizing you're going through TSA and I can't bring my usual daily carry, which is a Civi chronic flipper. They don't make it anymore, but I love that knife. I love the slim design and all that, but I absolutely love that knife. But I didn't want to take it and possibly have it taken away by TSA, and we weren't checking a bag, so that's normally how I get them through, is just in a check bag. So what I did is I just tucked it away safely at home. So we land in Maui, paradise on earth, right? And within a few hours, my father and I look at each other and we're like, man, we got to have our pocket knives. And we actually talked about this before the trip, but we feel just like stranded without a pocket knife. You know, you're always, you don't realize how often you use a blade until you suddenly don't have one on you, right? Opening packages, cutting loose threads off of a shirt, you know, little gear adjustment here. We just felt naked without our tools. Thankfully, Maui has exactly one Walmart. And so we made a beeline straight over to the Walmart from the airport, and we started looking for our temporary blade of the week. Now, we stood at that display case looking over all the budget options for little pocket knives that they had. We looked at Camelus, we looked at Civis, we looked at a bunch of Kershaws. They seem to be very prevalent in the Walmart. But we didn't want to spend a fortune, you know. This was supposed to be a tool for 7 or 8 days. And we even thought about mailing them back to ourselves at the end of the trip. But you know, shipping costs from Hawaii, they can quickly add up to more than this cheap knife was actually worth. Then I spotted this little Kershaw right there in the case. It immediately ticked a lot of boxes for me. It was small, it was lightweight, had a pocket clip, and it was a flipper. Now, if you know anything about me, you know I really like flipper knives. Lately, that's all I carry. Be totally honest with you guys, I usually tend to stay away from Kershaw knives. Years and years ago, I owned a couple of them, and the blades were so incredibly hard that I found them nearly impossible to sharpen. Now, looking back on that, that could have just been me. Could have been a me problem. Maybe I just didn't have the proper sharpening skills at that stage in my life. But either way, it left me a little bit biased. So I asked the clerk anyways. I said, hey, let me check that out. I picked it up. I hit that flipper tab. And man, clack, there it went. And you guys saw that, right? Man, it just felt right. It's an assisted flipper, which I absolutely love. The action is smooth and it's crisp. And it really had a good, strong pocket clip on it. And it's a small pocket clip. It's not something huge. It's got a good, strong pocket clip on it. And the handle is kind of textured, but I'll tell you, this texturing right in the middle right here, I don't know if you can see it. Right there, that really holds it tight into the pocket. There's no chance this is just going to slip out. The ergonomics of this knife, they are spot on. Best of all, this thing was only $15. Now, I've heard some out there got it for 11, 12. It was 15 when I bought it. We looked at each other and we were like, done. It's a done deal, sold. We both bought one right then and there. So guys, let's go to the tabletop and I'm going to give you the specs on this knife. All right, guys, let's look at what a $15 knife actually gets you. So you pop it open. The blade is 3 inches long. The blade steel is a cheaper stainless steel. And the blade style is a subtle reverse Tonto drop point hybrid. I really, really like the blade on this. You know, it gives you a good point, but also gives you a good cutting belly there. The opening mechanism is a SpeedSafe assisted flipper. So you're barely moving that nub and it's assisting right on out of there. Now this handle material is a textured glass-filled nylon. I really like the G10 scales, but you know, for 15 bucks, we can go with the textured glass-filled nylon. And the weight comes in overall at an incredibly light 2.0 ounces. Now, you know, when you're in Hawaii, you got board shorts on and gym shorts and things like that. Having a nice light knife really helped. All right, guys, let's address the elephant in the room. It is using the cheaper stainless steel. This is a very budget tier stainless steel. It has a high chromium content, which gives it awesome corrosion and rust resistance, which coincidentally was perfect for the humid, salty ocean air of Maui. And actually, as we do this review, it is perfect for Florida because it is hot and humid, and I'm by the ocean, so it's a salty environment as well. Remember how I said that the old Kershaws, they felt way too hard to sharpen? Well, this modern budget steel is the exact opposite. It's on the softer side, which means it takes a razor sharp factory edge right out of the box. Now, I've used it a lot, and you can't really slice paper with it anymore. But I really think it's just a little honing and this thing's gonna be right back in shape. This little baby really changed my perspective on budget knives. Now, we use these knives heavily for the entire 8 days that we were in Hawaii. From opening up beach gear packages to slicing fruit, they really did work flawlessly. The glass nylon filled handle is it's really heavily textured right here on the outside, but it's got, like I showed you earlier, this really heavy texturing right here that holds it in the pocket. So even if your hands are wet from the ocean or sweaty from hiking or something like that, you really can get a good rock solid grip on this. So guys, by the end of the trip, we really had a new problem. How do we get these home? We didn't want to leave them. It wasn't the $15, it was just the fact that they were really good little knives. We didn't want to throw away a perfectly good pair of knives. And they served us so well. Well, fortunately, or unfortunately for my wallet, my wife and daughters, they have a serious bit of a shopping habit. You know, you're in Maui one time, right? They had accumulated so many souvenirs and sweatshirts and clothes and things like that, that we went ahead and we bought a suitcase at that very Walmart and we checked a bag. So my father-in-law and I, we just threw our knives in there and we just had to laugh about it, right? And in that check bag, they made it all the way back to the mainland, no problem at all. Now, here's the kicker, guys. When I got home from vacation, I went to grab my, my Civi Chronic, but remember I had hid it away for safekeeping? I just kind of tucked it away somewhere before the trip. And I hid it so well, or I put it away so well, to this day, I still haven't found where I put it. You know what? Because of that little disappearing act, this Kershaw Hotwire right here, it has stayed in my pocket as my primary daily carry ever since we got back. And honestly, guys, I'm not even mad about it. The blade came pretty sharp from the factory. It stayed that way through the weeks that I've put it through of daily task, and it does great. I haven't even really had to touch it up on a strobe or a stone or anything, which I probably will here in the next day or so. But it completely put my old worries of the Kershaw steels to rest. It holds a decent edge. It seems to be, for everyday tasks and things like that, it seems to hold a pretty decent edge. Now I know that the 3CR13 steel is going to be incredibly easy to sharpen back up. Guys, I want to tell you, if you need an absolute workhorse of a budget knife, or if you ever find yourself vacationing and needing a quick, reliable tool that won't break the bank, the Kershaw Hotwire is a no-brainer. It proves you don't need to spend a mint to get a great, snappy, assisted opening knife that just works. It saved my vacation and it earned its spot in my pocket. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments, what's your go-to budget knife? And have you ever had to buy an emergency tool while traveling? Guys, please do me a favor. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like this video, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a great day, and God bless.